lifelong Democrat, someone who's worked on Democratic campaigns now, I'll say it since the 80s. We all know how much time and how much emotion and how much blood and how much sweat we put into these campaigns. And so I thank you for coming out today on a chilly, chilly day. This seat has been in play now for 6 years. We've all invested a lot of time and we've all worked hard on behalf of our candidates. And I'm here to tell you that it's time to get the right candidate in this seat, winning this seat in November and holding this seat in 2018. I don't know if many of you know my background. I grew up in the district. My economics degree, my undergraduate was from Stanford. I have an MBA from Northwestern, a law degree from the University of Chicago. I worked for General Motors in finance for a few years and then became an attorney and worked with McDermott, Will & Emery in healthcare for about 8 years. I bring a professional background, understanding finance, understanding law, but more importantly, I bring decades of activism dedicated to access to healthcare, the environment, education, equality, the issues that really matter to each of us. I was asked to run for this office in 2011. I had just become the mayor of Highland Park, and it was a tremendous honor to be asked, but at the time it was important that I do that job as mayor. I've had the opportunity now to be in office for 7 straight years. I've been in an elected office for 7 years, and I've worked hard on behalf of my constituents, whether it's taking on ComEd when the power was out, or working most recently against the NRA, making sure that assault weapons were no longer able to be brought into Highland Park and providing the model ordinance for our country. As a mayor, I've balanced 5 consecutive $85 million budgets, and I've preserved the AAA bond rating of our city, something only a handful of cities can claim at this point. But I've also made human services a huge priority. We've created a legal aid clinic to help our immigrant residents on their path to citizenship. We've provided advocates for people in domestic abuse situations, and people with rotten landlords get the help that they need. My residents know that I'm there for them. That's public service. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm in the trenches advocating for the people who need the advocacy. We know that the 10th has many opportunities, but it's been lacking in leadership. I've had the chance to build those relationships with the mayors, the business leaders, the community leaders, to move things forward and to create the traction that's so desperately needed there. I bring the passion, the energy, and the team to win this seat and to hold this seat. And I'm proud to tell you today that I have the endorsement of Dick Durbin, Ab Mikva, Adlai Stevenson, Dan Seals, Julie Hamas, David Hoffman, Robin Gable, Karen May, Mike Kreloff, Barbara Flynn Curry, many mayors, many trustees, a number of Democratic committees, and I proudly ask for your support as well. I'm Nancy Rotering. I'm running for the 10th District. I'd like to be the next congressman, and I ask for your support. Thank you.
Taught me a long time ago. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
She wants it. I'm Brett Schneider, and it is my honor to again ask for your endorsement to once again represent the 10th District of Illinois. I had the privilege and honor of representing this district in the 113th Congress. In 2014, the National Republicans spent more money attacking me than any congressional Democrat in the country. You might ask yourself why that was. Maybe if you look at the commercials, it was because of my ardent support and defense of the Affordable Care Act, because I know that everyone in this country deserves access to affordable, quality health care. Maybe it was because of my unrelenting support of women's rights, my 100% score and commitment to a woman's right to make her own choice, my 100% score from NARA on Planned Parenthood. Perhaps it was because of my leadership in trying to extend unemployment insurance, leading the way for all Democrats in 2013 as people were struggling to find work still, as they still are today. Maybe it was my work on the environment, my commitment to make sure that we protect our Great Lakes and we pass on to the next generation an environment that is sustainable and secure, not just for one generation, but for generations to come. And the A I got from the Sierra Club. If not the A, maybe it was the F I got from the NRA for my work on fighting to reduce gun violence. My very first speech in Congress in 2013 as a member from the floor of the House was about reducing gun violence and calling for a 100% background check and a ban on assault weapons. But if you ask me, I think the real reason the Republicans spent more on me than any other congressional Democrat is because they felt and they knew I was taking the fight to them. And it is that fight that I believe is going to lead us to victory in November. So before I talk about November, let me tell those of you that don't know me a little bit about from where I come. I was born in Denver. I come from a very close family. Family is the most important thing for me. It's the one thing I want you to remember about me. The matriarch of our family was my grandmother, who came from pre-Soviet Russia, from Kiev in 1912, fleeing from the pogroms of Russia. It's her story that led me to put a op-ed in Huffington Post this year talking about Syrians. Our nation is not a nation that should be closing our borders to refugees. It is a nation that should be welcoming refugees. My grandmother raised 6 kids. She had 18 grandchildren. I was number 11. I come from a very close family, and I understand family comes first. The second thing I want you to know about me is community. I was raised on the tradition of Rabbi Hillel. If I am not for myself, who will be? But if I'm only for myself, what am I? I've been involved in the community on a local level, coaching baseball and soccer, volunteering at my kids' school, working in my synagogue. Broadly, I've been involved with Jewish Federation my entire life. I was on the board of BPI, Business and Professional People for the Public Interest, involved with the Council of Global Affairs, and many other organizations. Family community is what matters and is what drives me, it's what defines me. But I'm also proud of my career. I have a career of over 25 years in business. I got an undergraduate degree in engineering and an MBA from Northwestern. Most importantly, more valuable than the MBA, I met my wife at Northwestern. We got married, met in 1988, got married in 89, moved to Glenview in 1990, Deerfield in 91. In Deerfield, we made our home, we built our careers, and we raised 2 incredible young men. Adam's almost 23 and going in the Navy next month. And Daniel left this morning to go continue his sophomore year at college. I'm very proud of them. And the reason I am running, I ran in the first place, I'm running again now, is because their generation deserves the continuation of the American promise, that each generation gives to the next a future better than what our parents sacrificed for us. And that American promise is gravely at risk. So that's why we need to fight. Let me tell you what I'm going to fight for. I'm going to fight for an economy that's working for everyone. We live in a situation now where the middle class feels they don't have a future. It is shrinking and getting smaller. I promise I won't go too much longer. It is shrinking and getting smaller. Around the world, middle class is rising up. In the United States, there's income inequality, and it's getting harder to make ends meet. The paths and opportunities for an education are getting closed. Every child in this country deserves an opportunity to a quality, affordable education so they can have the lessons and skills to succeed in college or a career as they choose. And that's why I'm running. Not just the economy, we need to make sure there's opportunity. Opportunity for people to have a quality, well-paying job, to put a roof over their head, provide health care to their children, and to secure a quality, dignified retirement. And that's why I've always defended Medicare and Social Security. I apologize. So it's economy, it's opportunity, but the last piece we have to talk about is progress. Because of the last 100 years, we have made so much progress, from women's rights to gay rights to voting rights, that the Republicans are trying to take us back. And I'm going to bring the fight so we make sure that they can't take us back. And that's why I have the support of so many people around this district. From the leadership in the House, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, and everybody else in leadership, to President Tony Preckwinkle, to 6 mayors, to state reps, Senator Daniel Biss, Senator Terry Link. People across the district are supporting me, and then we have 9,500 grassroots supporters. That's important because we cannot take back the House if we don't take back the 10th District. And I know, because I know how to win this district, that I can beat Bob Dole. I will beat Bob Dole, and I ask for your support on November. Thank you very much.